Rachel Reeves floundered in a brutal interview, struggling to defend herself against allegations of expense misuse at H-Boss and glaring inconsistencies in her CV. Confronted with a BC expose revealing a whistleblower's claims, she insisted she was never questioned about expenses, yet failed to explain how an internal audit flagged concerns without her knowledge. The Chancellor also faced fresh embarrassment over exaggerating her tenure at the Bank of England, now admitting she spent less than 6 years there, not the nearly a decade. If you've been watching our content but haven't subscribed yet, you're not alone. Over 98% of our viewers haven't subscribed. If you want to stay updated with the latest news in a clear and simple way, now's the perfect time to subscribe. By subscribing, you'll be among the first to know about all the new updates. We're committed to being a trustworthy source, bringing you the news in the best way possible. Just hit that subscribe button to stay informed with us. Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor, previously claimed that Labour's attempt to dismiss the BBC's report about her past expenses was completely inaccurate. However, her claims fell apart when it emerged that an internal audit by Halifax Bank of Scotland had investigated her for potential misuse of company funds. The report suggested that she had been questioned about extravagant spending on luxury items such as handbags, perfume, and wine. Despite this, Reeves insisted that she had never been questioned about her expenses and dismissed concerns over the internal audit. The BBC investigation, based on information from a whistleblower, revealed that the audit report, which included evidence of suspicious spending, had been passed to the bank's risk department back in 2009. However, the investigation was never completed. When asked why she remained unaware of an inquiry that, according to reports, many of her colleagues had knowledge of, Reeves struggled to provide a convincing answer. She insisted that none of the employees who had raised concerns went on the record, though the BBC's investigation indicated otherwise. This wasn't the only issue with her past that has come under scrutiny. In another embarrassing moment, Reeves was forced to amend her CV after it was discovered she had exaggerated her time working at the Bank of England. She had previously claimed nearly a decade of experience at Threadneedle Street, but she now admits that she worked there for less than 6 years, much of it as a junior analyst. Treasury sources quickly labeled this discrepancy an administrative mistake, but it follows a separate revision to her LinkedIn profile regarding her role at HBOS, indicating a pattern of inconsistencies. Reeves's critics, including Shadow Chancellor Mel Stride, argued that her reluctance to provide direct answers undermines her credibility and the trust that Sir Keir Starmer has promised to restore. Meanwhile, Labour is fighting not only against the allegations but also against the BBC itself, accusing the broadcaster of spreading totally inaccurate claims. Science and Technology Secretary Peter Kyle attempted to discredit the report by citing a former HBOS chief who denied ever receiving a file on Reeves. However, his claim that there was no investigation seems to fall flat in light of evidence that an internal audit team had, in fact, looked into the whistleblower report, although it was never formally concluded. So, where does this leave Rachel Reeves now? For the moment, she insists that voters will judge her based on the work she is doing as Chancellor. However, with every new revelation, every correction to her record, and each stuttering interview, a larger question remains: will the public or her own party continue to believe her version of events? Rachel Reeves has now become the embodiment of Starmer's broken promises. Starmer had vowed to restore trust in politics, yet here we are with a Chancellor who can't even keep her own CV straight, let alone manage the economy. Reeves's resume has become a political scandal in itself. First, she inflated her time at the Bank of England, claiming nearly a decade as an economist when she actually worked there for just 5.5 years, mostly as a junior analyst. Then, revelations about her time at HBOS surfaced, where she falsely presented herself as an economist while actually working as a middle manager. Even worse, she and 2 colleagues were investigated for extravagant spending on company credit cards, lavish dinners, handbags, perfume, and gifts, all charged to the bank. When confronted with these claims months ago, Reeves flatly denied them. Now, after a BBC expose confirmed that an internal investigation did take place, her story has suddenly changed. She claims she doesn't recall being investigated, a convenient case of selective memory, unless she's suffering from an undisclosed medical condition. Her inability to keep her own history straight is deeply troubling. Let's not forget that this is the person responsible for managing the UK's economy. Under Reeves, the country has become worse off in just 7 months than it ever was under the Conservatives. She has proven herself dishonest, incompetent, and unfit for office. If she can't manage her own resume, how can she be trusted to manage the country's finances? In another topic, Sue Gray's debut in the House of Lords has been a disaster. I don't usually criticize people based on their appearance, but I'll make an exception for Sue Gray, who arrived looking as though she had been dragged through a hedge backwards. A bit of effort would have gone a long way, a wash, a blow-dry, and maybe some makeup. Instead, she made a defiant statement, as if daring anyone to challenge her appointment. Unfortunately, thanks to Stammers' baffling decision to reward her with a seat in the Lords, we're stuck with Baroness Grey whether we like it or not. Meanwhile, Katie Price is once again making headlines, this time about her son, Harvey, being put on OIC. Price claims it's to save his life, but let's be honest, Harvey is morbidly obese, and Price has found a way to monetize this personal issue. If Harvey truly had a serious heart condition, he wouldn't even be eligible for the drug, as reputable providers have strict safeguards. But as always, Price doesn't let facts get in the way of a good drama. Finally, Donald Trump's handling of Ukraine has been a disgrace. While I've supported Trump on many issues, his obsession with brokering a peace deal at any cost essentially hands Ukraine over to Putin on a silver platter. This isn't peace, it's surrender. Worse, he's shutting Volodymyr Zelensky out of negotiations while deciding the fate of his country. Ukrainians have fought bravely for 3 years, and with proper Western support, they could have won. Now, thanks to this cowardly deal, every sacrifice and every death risks being for nothing. The hypocrisy of the Sam Kerr verdict also stands out. How did Chelsea footballer Sam Kerr get away with calling a police officer "fete de light" without facing any consequences? If the roles were reversed and she were white, having said the same thing to an officer of color, there would have been outrage and a conviction in record time. This isn't justice, it's a blatant example of double standards. The bottom line is that Britain is riddled with dishonesty, hypocrisy, and weak leadership at every turn, and we're all paying the price. Thanks for watching, and we'd love to hear your thoughts on the content. Share your feedback in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with our latest videos. Also, join our free Telegram group, link in the description, for uncensored discussions on important issues.